seeing a wreck underwater, like you see, it's like a part of history. Like,
Yes.
how did this big ship get here? And working close with Will Smith and Margot Robbie and all those guys. That was the first time when I saw real sharks in the water. I was like, what did I get myself into?
Welcome back, Wreck Watchers. We're very glad to have you. Have you ever wondered what it takes to film a movie underwater? Today, we're going to find out with my friend Jason McLoughlin. Thanks for watching, guys. We're really happy that you're joining us and watching all of the cool content that we're making on Wreck Watch TV. And today, I'm talking with my good friend Jason McLoughlin of Pegasus Rescue. He's an underwater cinematographer and has lots of experience doing pretty much everything, right? Everything that's ever been done in the world, you've done it, right?
Everything.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Jason, just give me a little bit of background. What is it that you do here at Pegasus Rescue?
Well, at Pegasus, mostly our job here is to provide safety for all the film productions. It started off as just edge safety. Now it's like we do everything for the film productions.
That's amazing. Now, did you start diving before you started doing this kind of stuff, or did this introduce you to diving?
My biggest thing was I was always surface water rescue as a paddler and kayaker and stuff. And then the need for underwater stuff kind of always intrigued me. So that's when I was like, I want to be the underwater guy.
Yeah.
So I was always doing camera work and photography, like pretty much my whole life. And it turned a hobby now into a career. So now I am an underwater camera operator, and working underwater, you got to be commercially certified. Yeah. So the two of them just kind of worked in perfectly with each other.
I was really excited to meet you a few years ago through our mutual friend Dean and go out on a dive with you, because I think we have a lot of similarities. Through high school, I was a lifeguard, and I loved the water, and I loved just swimming and being in the water. And then I discovered scuba and started doing some diving. And at the same time, my other passion was cameras and photography and doing that kind of stuff. So when you and I first met on that dive boat, I'm like, wow, this guy's really cool. But I stayed on the surface for the most part and just dive recreationally. But you've turned this into a career. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is fun. And growing up, as I was always afraid of fish.
Really?
Yeah, I was terrified of fish. And so when I finally said, stop being a wimp, just get in there and do it. So I did my scuba diving, and and once you're underwater and you can see the fish and all that, you're like, okay, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
And that kind of took a lot of that fear out of it.
Yeah.
And then we did go on a dive trip filming in Bahamas for like the sharks and everything.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the first time when I saw real sharks in the water. I was like, what did I get myself into? And it was the best time I ever had. I was like, this is so cool, like to swim with sharks and you're looking them in the eye as they're swimming. I was like, this is like, every child always has a fascination with sharks, and it was like the coolest thing I ever did. So no regrets there for sure.
So Pegasus Rescue already existed before you started doing the underwater stuff?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Like I was in the film industry for a while first before I was like, this is not too safe. And
oh, really?
I was like, we could be doing a better job here. And they kept looking at me for solutions when we were filming in really precarious spots. In the last 10 years, safety on the film productions has become paramount. And
that's amazing.
It's really good now seeing the difference of 10 years ago to what we do now.
Yeah, and you get to do interesting projects and meet interesting people. Tell me just some of your favorite films or TV series that you've worked on.
I think the most memorable one was Suicide Squad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With Will Smith, the first one.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we filmed that here in Toronto. It was a really big feature film we did here, and working close with Will Smith and Margot Robbie and all those guys. It was great. But the hardest of it was like we did 16 weeks straight of night shoots.
Oh, wow.
So it was, the nights was rough, but it was really cool having like real Navy SEALs came up from California. Tyler Gray, who was an ex-Delta Force operator, He's actually in that TV series Navy SEALs right now.
Yeah.
So he was one of them that came up here, and it was so great to work with these guys because I do have a military background in the Canadian Army, but not to the extent these guys are. So working with them and that, it was really cool to see.
Yeah, and do you ever encounter an actor that maybe is nervous of doing something in the water and you have to train them or coach them? Or
There's a lot of actors or actresses that, they're great on land, but now they gotta go underwater and hold their breath and do some, and they always get a little nervous, and so it's always fun to see them get more comfortable while you're filming and stuff. So it's always fun, yeah.
And you were telling me before, because often you're filming in a pool, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of times.
And you have to make it look like this is the outside world, in a lake or an ocean or something like that. Tell me again about how you make the pool water look like this is a real world environment.
Well, a lot of time, a lot of pools are like really clear, and it's blue water, and you got the blue tiles and stuff. So we'll black it all out. We'll put materials in the water to black the whole pool out.
Okay.
And then that way the gaffer can have full lighting control. The DOP will light it how he wants, put lights in and shine light down. And then, of course, filming in oceans and lakes and stuff, the water is never that clear. So we'll use little tricks like hot chocolate mix in water, and you just shake it up and mix it, and you just squirt it in the water and diffuse it, and it gives like that milky kind of look.
And does it taste like chlorinated hot chocolate?
It does. It's if you're drowning, it tastes good.
That's amazing. And I'm imagining that you also do a lot of work outside of the pool in the lakes and the oceans. How often does that happen?
Quite a bit, actually. So not all of my stuff is underwater camera. Is part of the water safety. Is a lot of times we have actors going in the water. Is we'll go in as divers to clear it on the water. So we have one coming up where there's an actor jumping off a bridge.
Okay.
So we will actually go in the water ahead of production to clear the water to make sure there's like nothing sticking up where somebody jumped in the water, they're going to get injured. So we will go in and we'll clear it first, and then we'll make sure it's safe before any actors go in the water. So we do not only the boats and have our marine unit there, we have the divers to clear it, make it safe, and then we stand by because sometimes these actors go in the water and the worst thing could happen, so our safety divers are in there prepared to go get them ASAP. So
that's amazing.
Especially here in Canada, the lakes are really cold.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So that hydro shock of just the coldness can be a factor for these guys, because they're not used to the cold water. So
yeah. Now, so outside of doing the commercial diving for the film industry, you also like to dive.
Yeah.
Right? So you've traveled all over the world diving, and this is the Rec Watch TV channel. So can you tell me a couple of stories or a couple of your favorite wrecks that you have dove?
It's always cool when you're underwater. I mean, sure, seeing fish, they're gorgeous, everything, octopus, your first octopus is like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then sharks is really cool. But seeing a wreck underwater, like you see, it's like a part of history. Like, how did this big ship get here? And so it's always really cool to see that kind of stuff underwater and figure out like, whoa, this is really cool.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of wrecks that are just unknown. Like what you and I dove the tiller together.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
we've dove the tiller a couple times, and that's an amazing wreck because I don't think anyone knows where it came from or what its real name is, and they call it the tiller because of
the big tiller on the back. Yeah. The one benefit we have here in Canada is the fresh water, and it preserves a lot of these like really old wrecks.
Yeah,
these old wooden boats, and Tobermory is, a big dive site up here, and it's riddled with all these old wooden boats and stuff. And it's really cool to see these old pieces of history still in like pretty good condition.
Yeah, and we haven't mentioned this part of your job yet, but the underwater cameras, the housings, the type of gear that you get to use. I mean, you were showing me some of your camera gear and stuff, and I'm very envious. I'm jealous. I'm looking at. I'm trying not to drool on the gear that you have. What kind of equipment are you working with lately?
I personally own a new red Komodo.
Okay.
Just a little 6K camera. It's great, and I have the Gates housing for it.
Okay. Yeah. So you've got this gigantic housing, and you find that it's more graceful to use underwater. Is that?
Yeah, it's surprising because it's like literally can be the length of this table,
Right.
and it's massive.
Yeah.
So you think about the size of that and lifting it like into the water or out of the water, it's really heavy.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get it in the water, it's perfectly neutrally buoyant, and it's really easy to control. So it's surprising, which you can put those big cinema cameras in there, and that way the footage that you're shooting above surface matches what you're shooting under.
Right.
Yeah, so.
One of the challenges that I find when I'm filming underwater is I'm often using, on the bigger end, I'm using a mirrorless like the Sony A7S III and a little housing, or sometimes I'm using just my GoPro.
Yeah.
And I find it really difficult to keep a steady shot with these smaller cameras.
Yes.
So you really need more of that mass underwater to keep things steady. A good friend of mine, Warren Fletcher from the Sea Hunters, I remember he came up with this really cool way. He used some plumbing pipes and different things to make a GoPro more steady underwater.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at it at first thinking, why would you do that? And then realizing after trying to film underwater with the GoPro, it makes complete sense. You need that extra mass to be able to balance it out and get those smooth pan and tilts, and just to keep it steady moving. Outside of work, do you have a dream dive, a dream destination? Thinking of being on Wreck Watch TV, talking shipwrecks, do you have a dream wreck that you'd love to dive on?
Other than this, the dream of being on Wreck Watch?
Yeah, besides that, what's the next one? You've achieved that one. What's the next goal?
Definitely, we did talk about our favorite dives and wrecks and stuff. I do love wrecks, and that's one thing. Friends of ours, Dean and them, they all just came back from Truck Lagoon, and it's definitely like a bucket list dive for me. So all the shipwrecks and stuff there, that's going to be like so much fun to actually go there. I think they're going again in 2025.
Yes,
so
they are.
I am going to try to.
I told him I want to be on that one too.
Yeah. So that would be epic to get on there and film some of the shipwrecks down there. It'll be amazing.
That'd be great. Well, Jason, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy guy. And,
no worries.
Actually, we tried to connect and do this before Christmas last year. So we are in 2023 now. So it took me a few months, but now we're both in the country at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited that we were able to do this. And if people want to learn more about you, you have a Facebook page, Instagram, website, what kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, all the social media.
Yeah.
Pegasus Rescue. It's the same handle for Instagram.
Okay.
Our YouTube channel as well, and all that. So yeah.
Okay, I'll have links to all of his social media in the description below, so make sure you click on them and check them out. And you have a YouTube channel too, right? Yeah. Yeah, and actually, we've talked about it, and hopefully we can find time to do it, but we'd love to do some gear reviews. I'd love at some point for you to bring out all of your housings, and we could just look at them and see, it's an excuse for me just to look at them.
Well, let's do that side of the water sometime. We can
actually,
not only look at them, but let's go play with them.
Yep, that'll be fun. Well, thanks again. Really appreciate it. Make sure that you are checking out Jason and Pegasus Rescue's social media. And thank you for watching Wreck Watch TV. If you like this, why not give us a thumbs up? Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications, because we do have more videos coming out. And we're just really glad that you did this. Thanks again, Jason. And thank you for watching. Remember, deep down, we care.